Being an entrepreneur and business owner is absolutely not a straight line journey. And you probably already know time and, more importantly, brain space are often two commodities that we seemingly never have enough on. My name is Shannon Merlot, and in today's video, we're talking about how to maximize your time and brain space by operating in your genius zone. The genius zone is that happy place where you're taking action that's keeping you inspired and energized and motivated while you're doing them. Of course, if you're currently thinking, I don't even know what inspires me anymore, then you're absolutely in the right spot. When I start with a new business, I'll ask the business owner to take a moment to detail where they're spending their time and where they want to be spending their time in the future, with reflection to where they work well. The pattern that's revealed is that they're often spending a lot of time in areas that either aren't core to their business, and that can sometimes be faffing about or getting distracted by things that they think they should be doing, or about what others are expecting of them. So often that's putting out other people's fires or taking on other people's monkeys or problems. They could be doing things that they're not good at and they don't like doing, and that's normally because they don't delegate the task. And finally, they're probably doing things that no longer challenge them because they can do it without thinking too much, but it's actually not adding value to the business anymore. The problem with spending time in these areas is that we stop enjoying why we were doing business in the first place, and we can really become stagnant as leaders in our business. So we fix this by focusing on activities that are in your genius zone. But what is this elusive genius zone? Well, the genius zone is that area where you're doing what you love and what you're good at. I personally believe that we should be spending at least 50% of our active work time in that genius zone. And I think if you're looking at where you're spending your time, I bet that you're spending 10 to 20% at best in your genius zone. We often spend too much time doing things we're good at, but we don't really enjoy anymore, or worse still, doing things that we're neither good at nor enjoy. So how do you know what zone you're spending your time in, and how can you change things so that you're spending more time in that genius zone of things that you're good at and love doing? There are two ways that I would suggest to start unpacking your zones. The first option is a bit of a quick option. Simply take 15 minutes to write down everything that you're currently spending your time on. Option two is to track your time for a week. This does require more time and energy and detail, but it will give you greater insight into plenty of areas where you can improve your overall productivity. In fact, a friend of mine did this and he found that he was spending 1/5, 20%, if I've got my maths right, 20% of his time driving. When he realized this, he knew that things needed to change. Once you've tracked your time, do a bit of analysis around the zones that the activities are sitting in. And once you've done that, it's time for the hard part. That means letting go of control. And we all probably have a little bit of that if we're a business owner. You'll also need to spend time to teach someone to take over and delegate and manage when you've done that. Now, I'm very aware that this is good in theory, but if you're like most small business owners, allocating time to track your time and then making decisions on what to delegate and then taking action to delegate it can actually make you feel like you're spending less time in your genius zone before you have clear space to be in your genius zone. I can assure you though, it is worth doing it. And let me share a story to highlight why it is worth doing it. A client of mine was spending a lot of time managing his team. His business was a completely flat structure, and there were about 15 team members who reported to him on a daily basis. Now, management was not his genius zone, and he did want to improve in this area. But the volume of management was really draining his energy and his brain power, most importantly. Conversely, he really loves account management and sales and is very good at it, but he really wasn't spending any time meaningfully engaging in these activities. With some pretty big growth plans, we knew that we needed to change things to focus on where he was in his genius zone, and that is in sales and account management. We reduced his direct reports so that he could take more time to improve his leadership qualities, and it allowed more time to focus on his natural sales and relationship building talent. The result? Well, year on year, this business has seen increases in revenue and profit in the vicinity of 10 to 15%. Now, before you go off delegating leadership, I do have one non-negotiable caveat. I truly believe that if you're the business owner and you're still in the business, you really do have an obligation to always be improving your leadership and communication skills, even if they are the furthest activity from your genius zone, because ultimately your team looks to you to lead them, and so you can always improve in this area. So to recap, operating in your genius zone involves a little bit of analysis. Have a look at where you're spending your time currently and delegate tasks that are not in your genius zone, because you're going to be wasting time, energy, and that important brain space if you're not hanging out there. If you're still getting bogged down, don't worry. Take a breath, do the work, make the tough decisions. Also know that you don't need to do the journey alone. I do have a downloadable on my website that can help you to think about your activities, and the link is in the description below. I would also really love you to mention on a comment where you're at. Are you operating at 50% of your genius zone, or are you working towards it?